Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome.
Welcome to
Hi.
Certified Life Coach Institute.
CLCI Live.
Yes. We have a ton of energy apparently right now. Everybody wake up. All right. So before we get started, let's remind everyone that we want to hear from you. So if you're out there watching, we would love to hear from you. Let's please, we want you to join in the conversation. Also hit that subscribe button, pretty please. It's the only way we know that you like what it is we are doing. And we do these lives to help you guys, to help folks out there. So please make sure you subscribe, like, and participate in the conversation. What we are in our controversial coaching right now. And so what is our topic?
It's a good one. It's my Super Bowl of CLCI Lives. It's a topic that is near and dear to my heart. It is red flags in the coaching industry, red flags of life coaches, right?
It's life coach, red flags to keep you safe.
Okay. Yes. We want to keep everyone out there who is looking for a coach or who even is a coach safe from red flags.
Or to keep you from doing something that is red flag and might alert your clients that you are bogus.
I don't know that it's necessarily bogus. So we had this sort of discussion before we even got on earlier in the day through Slack about like what is a red flag? What is a scam? Like that we were talking about sort of the difference between and so when we're talking about red flags, what are we doing? Is it about something really bad happening, or like what do we mean when we're saying red flag?
I think it's just something to pay attention to and really discern if this is the right direction. Research, ask questions.
Yeah. I mean, something bad can happen if you're not paying attention to these telltale signs that I think we're going to try and present today. But not necessarily going to be something that's connected to catastrophe, but it is something, again, to keep your mind open for.
Yeah, I see a red flag. Wait, who's talking?
You go.
I see a red flag as a signal that something might be off or not quite add up or be what it seems. That's my interpretation of it.
Yeah, one red flag, something to watch out for. A lot of red flags, just go the other way. Don't even bother with it if you see a lot of red flags. I see this come up in like dating a lot, like discussions about dating, like looking for red flags. But now we're applying this to coaching, looking for your coach.
Which they're all relationships anyways, right? So
that is true.
I had a red flag happen. I was actually getting my hair done at the time. It was early in the morning, many years ago. And I had this person text me and say they wanted coaching. Well, hello, duh, of course, I'm the coach, right? So I started interacting, and then they started telling me stories that they wanted it for their family, that the reason they couldn't call is that they were deaf. I mean, they had an answer for everything. And it didn't dawn on me till several interactions with them that they were scamming me, that was a red flag with what they were trying to do, how they were interacting with me, and how they were trying to get me to have sympathy for their situation. And before you knew it, price-wise, I had to think about how to charge for 5 people. I had to figure out, they wanted it over several courses, several questions. And then they were going to say, well, I'm going to send my family in a limousine and I need you to pay for it. And I'm like, wait, what? Well, I can't drive. So, we hire a limo to take them places and I will need you to pay for them. And I'm like, wait, what? And if you would give me your merchant ID, I'll transfer the funds to you. And I'm going to give you more. I'm like, what?
Oh my gosh.
So you gave him the merchant ID, right? And you paid
Naturally.
for it.
What did you say?
That would be very funny if it wasn't a scam and you just missed out on like tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, no. That scam was going on and on and on and round and round and round. Emails, it became emails, it became texts, phone calls.
How did it get that
different
far?
versions of that same thing. Go ahead.
Oh, is it multiple versions that came up that were at different time periods is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that one instance just became multiple emails and calls and texts and
Yeah. No, once I realized what it was, I blocked them.
Well, so that's the scam, and the inside of that, right, is there are multiple red flags. The fact that they wouldn't get on the phone with her, the fact that all kinds of stuff, like probably in that. So those are the little red flags we're looking at. Hi, Bree, good to see you. And that is what we're talking about, is these sort of red flags that come up. I know Jen's, one of her favorite topics here.
We talk about this with Jen often.
Yes.
Yes.
Not because she's a red flag, because she looks in the.
I've done a lot of research on this. Should we dive in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We should, yeah.
Okay, so with the list that I have, I think it's important that we get like everyone's take on it before just accepting it as a red flag. And maybe we have like a final vote of whether it is a red flag or not.
Okay.
Yeah?
Do it.
Yes.
Fun.
Okay, so I don't know where to start. We can start in a lot of different places. So we could start with the coach has no experience in what they are coaching on. Is that a red flag? Is that not a red flag?
So can we
Red flag.
Wait, can we elaborate by what we mean? Like, give me examples. Like, tell me more about that.
So if I was a business coach that has never run a successful business, or if I was,
I think that example, being a coach necessarily precludes that your business is coaching. So that one, I'm kind of like, it's a pink flag, maybe not a red flag.
Okay.
It could go either way. I would agree. I think it could go either way.
What about a marriage coach who's never been married?
That's a great example. What do we think?
So it's funny because
Hi, Sue.
I've divided in this space, okay? Because if we're truly coaching, if we're like truly in that coaching space, I don't need that experience, right? Like, I don't need it. Truthfully, it might be a little harder. I mean, I would think that anybody who's in a coaching space is in that space because it's called to them in some way. So they've got some kind of experience or have had some kind of personal experience that drew them or called them to that profession. If they're doing something they are passionate about, let's start with that. Now, where I go is when we get to this space of, especially when coaches coaching coaches, when there are coaches who take a class and they look around them and they see all these other coaches who are coaching and need businesses and need all of these things, and they go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open a business that teaches these coaches how to market their coaching businesses. And that's where I'm like, good, because a lot of times we're not coaching in those spaces, and we've deviated completely out of the coaching space, and they're like giving them tools or telling them what to do, and they're building their business from a space that is totally inauthentic for me, right? Like it doesn't feel authentic. It feels like it is a like they're capitalizing. So it's kind of a gray, there's like a gray area there for me.
Yeah.
I would think that you would want to coach in a space though that like you have some personal experience in some way, or like just life I mean just some kind of something, but also there's this piece of like, well, if it's truly coaching, I don't have to.
But hold on, let me ask you a question. In hearing you say that, you've said that if you were going to hire a coach on your relationship with food and body, you would hire me.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because of you can speak from a personal experience, because of the message you put out, because of.
Also, Jen, don't you have, what was your education in? Was it in nutrition?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a bachelor's in nutrition.
No, she's got tons of experience. Like that's why I would hire her 100%. So like that's.
Would you hire someone to coach you on that has no experience in that? And
so
just had this life of
where I would have to experience the coaching session before I could actually say that I would hire them long term, right? Because sometimes not knowing can carry a coaching session quite a ways, because the less I know, the more you client have to figure things out on your own, so that I am not, we already know I'm not supposed to give advice, but that's a possibility. And the idea, we're all talking about Sue behind the background. Sue, we want to congratulate you and thanks for the shout out, for sure.
Congrats, Sue.
And I got distracted by that.
Sorry. We've been distracted by you. But that's okay. It was a good distraction.
Yeah. So the idea of not knowing can be beneficial, but the other side of knowing and experiencing also allows you for some depth questions that you might not have been able to do. That's not saying that the client wouldn't give you and provide you that information. So it's just a really difficult side to pick when it comes to those kinds of things. But as far as a business, there's some things I would consider, because we have a relationship with everything. To me, everything is a relationship with. And so I could see working with someone who perhaps, has never been married on relationship concepts, but a person who has no business background, I think I might not go towards as much.
I would 100% hire a relationship coach that it doesn't have a successful relationship. Yeah. Like I just would. Like I would be like, for whatever reason, I'd be like, well, maybe. I mean, there could be 1,000 reasons why that coach isn't in a successful relationship, and I think the application of making your relationship successful, bringing those tools to like that situation and being like, all right, you're going to participate with me in these relationship coaching tools, and it's going to be success. Like, doesn't always work. So, like, I'm going to give them a little break, right? But Jen's point is very valid. The truth of the matter is, I can say intellectually that we can coach anybody out there, but I will say in real world life stuff, I'm not hiring a coach that doesn't have some kind of experience in what it is they're coaching. I'm just not. That's not what I'm doing. Yeah.
So what do we think it comes down to? Because to me, what we just talked about, like, it feels like safety. Like there's a safety in knowing that someone has experienced something that you're going to potentially, explore with them.
It's not just safety for me. It's like being able to relate to me. Mm-hmm. Like it's this, I feel like I'm going to be drawn to somebody that can understand what I'm going through. Like that has some kind of ability to, it's not like I'm talking a different language or I am from a different planet, right? So I'm looking for someone that, one, I can relate to, that is gonna understand me, I'm gonna have some rapport with. So like already I'm looking for things that maybe relate to me, because I want that in my coaching set with my coach. I want my coach to be able to understand me. I want my coach to understand my world, to have been through maybe some of the ickier things that I'm going through that are icky, because if they've dealt with it, then they're not going to judge me in it. Like that's a safety piece there too, I think as well. Mm-hmm.
So are we in agreement that it's a pink flag? Like, and at the end of the day, it's got a lot of gray?
I think it's a
What does
red
pink
flag.
and gray make?
I think it's red.
Okay.
I think it's red, but not. I mean, one red flag doesn't mean right, but do more research.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's a red flag, and based on the fact that like people who are customers make these decisions sometimes on purely irrational reasons. Like it does not matter what your experience as a coach is. If you don't have experience in what it is I want to talk about, it's never going to matter to them, regardless of your own coaching ability.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be one of those red flags that leads nowhere, and you could be an awesome coach anyways, but the client will never know that, and they probably won't ever care to know.
Truth. Next one. What do we got up next? I'm excited, Jen.
Okay, so this one's interesting. So this one is coaches who have done something one time and then act as if they're an expert or an authority on it in their marketing, and or coaches who use the one time I did this thing as all of their marketing. Have you guys seen this? I see this all the time.
Tell me about it. No, I don't know what
in various ways. Yeah.
I
Give an example.
Yeah.
Okay, so like this one time I lost weight. And now I am a weight loss expert.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a lot of questions there.
would you want a coach? Would you want a weight loss coach who is continuously? I've lost 100 pounds 5 times.
No, not necessarily, but maybe like more than like, hey, I just did it like 6 months ago. You know what I mean?
I get you.
Yeah, because like for me, like if you're in that world, you've got to figure out how to keep it off, right?
Right.
Right. And like everybody can, honestly, anybody can lose, 50 pounds. It's a matter of like, can you keep it off? Because that's the real struggle, truthfully, at least for me.
Or like
Is it a red flag?
Or like this one time I created an online business and I had a video go viral on TikTok and I made a bunch of money, and here's my 5-step blueprint of how you can do it too.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Like, I don't know.
I think it's a green flag for dumb people and a red flag for smart people.
I can say so. Like, if I have never done something before, right? If I have never done something before, I will listen to somebody that's done something one time, because at least they have more experience than me. I'm not going to think they are like the guru, but I'm going to think that they're like practically my equal, and be like, so what was it like? Tell me more about it. You know what I mean? Like, don't tell me a process. But I'm happy to hear about your experience, for sure. It's funny because like I think about like in other things that I do, like freediving, and like I go to an instructor and I expect that instructor to have a lot of experience in that space so that they can teach it to me. And if they didn't, I would be very scared. And it's important. And that's why I picked that instructor, because they have passed certain things and gotten that recognition. But I definitely, it's weird because I think it varies, but I think that's a huge red flag. If they're selling it as like, I'm an expert in this, then no, that's not. Truthfully, I'm not going to like 100%. If somebody has like a degree in something, I feel like they also need life experience in addition to a degree. So like, I feel like a coach can go out there and be certified, but they've got to coach for a little while before they, and that's not to say they can't and shouldn't get clients and get out there, but like, that's why that experience piece is just as important as the education piece too. Like both of it is very, very critical. Hi, Danger.
Bree brought up a really good point. That's not something you probably want to do more than once.
I need somebody who's been divorced multiple times. So I know their experience.
Wasn't she divorced 8 times?
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton, wasn't he like a whole bunch of times too?
But that's the thing. So I don't think you have to, like,
they're nuts.
Yeah, it sounds like they're actively doing that.
But let's say I have coached several different people through divorces.
Mm-hmm.
That works the same as like you don't have to go out and be divorced 8 times. But you have successfully coached several people through a divorce, and that would count for me, like as well.
Yeah,
So,
like you can now. We don't say that we're supposed to like own like our clients' victories and stuff like in the coaching session, but maybe in your marketing we subsidize those victories as for our own experience. Like if you've, like Brooke said, successfully coached and had coaching relationships with multiple people who've had divorces, that turns your red flag into a greener flag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, if it's like things where it's like I had a successful account
Mm-hmm.
or like influencer account from one viral video, then
Yep.
and you're like resting your laurels on that.
yeah, because how many failed videos have they had? We're looking at what is that fallacy, Anthony?
It's the survivorship bias.
Yeah, survivorship bias, where
Mm-hmm.
you have one success. One success doesn't mean that you have a history of success. It means you were able to be successful one time.
Right.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's all you need is to be successful one time. But to me, it's like it's an orange flag.
Okay. What is everyone else voting it as?
I'm gonna say it's a red flag, and it might be a little pinker if you, depending on what you're charging. If you're offering to coach me for free, it's not. It's like
It's whatever. We're all just being honest here.
Very light pink flag, like not even. It's probably there's no flag, right? Now, if it's a yellow to green flag, if you're charging me $500 an hour, that's a really dark red flag. So
I
mean, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a red flag just because I've seen so much marketing that is just repetitive of that person's one thing. And they just keep marketing on it. And I'm like, but what are you doing now? How are you now? Like, I need to know that like what you did this one time has translated into sustainability. And if it hasn't, then this isn't even relevant. So I call it a red flag.
Yeah.
But you're right. Depending on the type of coaching, like divorce coaching, it's pinker. So then that
I would agree with that. I think the one time and never really experiencing it again, I think I want to know, what the growth process was, what the research behind it was, what the failed attempts were, what the, but we're talking about coaching, not a consultant. So that I think that's where it can be a little more pink as a coach versus a consultant. A consultant, you're definitely going to want to be an expert in this, and one and done is not enough.
So we ready for the next one? So
Yeah.
this leads us to the obvious red flag of giving advice. And not just like, here and there sprinkled, but like consistently giving advice.
Are we talking about how are they giving advice?
Well, it could be in their marketing, but it could also be in their coaching. We could look at each one separately.
If they're giving
marketing is different than actual coaching, and for coaching, I'm gonna go no. It's bright red.
Yeah. Bright red. So we're all in agreement on that one. Just across the board.
It's like not coaching.
It's obvious.
Rule number 1 when you learn.
Okay. Rule number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So next would be unrealistic or too good to be true promises, specifically anything that says quick or easy. How do we feel about that?
Except life coach training. And
that's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah.
Well, if the result, we're not coaching people. We're giving them a result, which is a education. For coaching, however, you can't even promise giving a promise of a result is already over promising. is the
Right.
thing in coaching.
Right. Totally.
So you're already doing something that you probably shouldn't. Now you could say like what the benefits are of working with you as a coach, like what you get out of it, but you should not promise one-to-one results. Like if you come in with a goal in mind and you say as a coach that you're going to deliver that, it's a red flag.
Yeah.
Then why, if I'm a client, why would I go to a coach if they can't guarantee I would get that?
Transparency.
Because it's on you.
Yeah, transparency.
Yeah, I like that, Jerome.
You can I would also say you absolutely try coaching with somebody who will promise you the results, and see how that goes for you.
Yeah.
It's on you and your wallet to do that. You're probably going to end up losing money and not have achieved the goal, though.
Mm-hmm.
And that transparency is an opportunity for coaches in their marketing, right? To make a showcase like, hey, if you have got someone promising you results, that might be a red flag. You might want to make sure that, there's something in the coaching agreement that asserts that is the case, because if there's not, then they're just blowing smoke, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I promise to show up and be available to be your coach for 1 hour every 2 weeks for the period of 12 weeks. That's about as far as
it's a green flag, for promise.
So we're all in agreement on this one as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
Yeah. And so that actually flows nicely into no clearly defined or formal coaching agreement.
Yeah, huge red flag.
Huge red flag.
Yeah.
What do you mean coaching agreement? Like the one that you go into like
written, a formal written, clearly defined,
like a contract.
A contract.
Yeah. That one is kind of orangey to me.
Okay.
And I think it's a red flag, but I don't think it has a necessary bearing on how good of a coaching relationship it might be. I think it's just it's like ignorance, and maybe they don't know to do that.
That for me,
Hence a red flag.
That's another red flag.
Like I said, it's a red. I know it's a. I'm saying it's a red. No, I'm saying it's a red flag, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad coach. It just means they're bad at doing business.
Well, to me, that would be untrained as well.
Yeah.
Well, that could mean that they went to a place that didn't, on day 3 of coaching 101, teach them the best.
I mean, there's so many things. There's just so many things that can go awry. Like, okay, now as a client, if it's not something in writing, I don't know what happens if I have to cancel. I don't know what happens if I have to reschedule. Are they going to, they're going to be hidden fees? What happens if they cancel on me? Is my time going to be wasted? Like, I have so many questions as like somebody who's entering. It's the moment I'm handing somebody money, I want to know what I'm paying for. And so if I'm handing you money and there isn't a contract, I don't know. What am I paying for? Like, where's that?
We also have contracts even when there's no money involved, just to define what coaching is and is not. I don't think it necessarily means you're a bad coach. It just means you're very reckless in your professional life, or just ignorant, which is not good.
And I would call that a red flag. I would run for the hills. I would make that coach like go figure out how to go write one right now.
Yeah.
Like it's your job. That's your job. You're the contractor. I'm buying services. It's your job to give me that contract, not the other way around.
Especially if it's a high ticket service that you're paying for and there's no coaching agreement.
No. Not okay.
Ooh, not good. So we're in agreement on that one.
Yes.
Except for Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony's living fast and loose over there. I don't know if
it would probably depend on how. If it was a free coaching session, I'd be like, sure, whatever. I'll do a coaching session with you, and like we'll keep it.
It's lawless when there's no money involved. Like, whatever. Let's see how this goes.
All right, next one.
Okay. How about this is another kind of technical one. Pay in full in advance with no refunds on unused sessions.
So, considering I have given a contract like this,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, I have, but it was, mind you, there's some gray there.
Okay.
But I was required that my clients, I did not work. Now, this is for another business, but I did not work until I had received money. Like, that was like, I'm not going to waste my time. You pay me for my time and money. I have staff, I have things, and I have to guarantee. So, like, I would guarantee out the gate, you pay $2,000. And this is what you're going to get in this next month for that $2,000. This is a whole other business, though. This is a branding and website building business. So there's like very clear terms. You're going to end up with a landing page, X, Y, and Z, a brand, something like that at the end. Pay me $2,000 in advance. We'll have that. Then if you want us to keep going together, you have to pay me on a monthly, every month upfront, period. Boom, boom. And no, there are not refunds as long as it's not my fault that this didn't happen. As long as I complete what I say I'm completed, I've done my work, etc., there is not a refund on that. You can't, like, mind you, we will have discussions the whole way, etc., but that money is paying for time done. It's paying for an end result, essentially. Yeah. So if you apply that to coaching sessions, whose fault is it that they're not finishing the sessions would be my next question.
Hold on. Let me give a scenario I think of. Yeah. So I do a 6-month coaching package with you. Okay. It's $6,000, and then I have a death in my family.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't coach. I need help. Mm-hmm. No refunds?
I would give refund for, like, I would get within reason. Like, there would be a buffer. I would build out a buffer. Let me be honest with you. So,
okay.
Especially being a contractor and somebody where this is my paycheck and I have to live and die by this. So, basically what I would build out is, I will refund up to, minus maybe the first and last session or something like that. 2 sessions that you are not going to get the refund on. But you're welcome to come back, and when you're ready, those sessions will sit or something like that. But some kind of buffer for me, the coach, who has to know that, like, all of that process, refund process alone, can be a nightmare depending on the services you use, and then you end up paying fees on it too. Mm-hmm. I had a horrible experience where when I closed my business, I refunded essentially $10,000 to people that ended up becoming $15,000 in total cost to me. Because of the process, and it had nothing to do with the clients themselves, and had everything to do with the bank and the way that the bank handled it, and it was insane. And so, just absolutely insane. I'm still mad about it. And so, like, that's not something that the clients consider, right? But there are a lot of other things that come into it, and a lot of time and energy maybe I have spent as my coach. So I'm going to build some kind of buffer in there for myself. But there will be refund. But there will be a buffer.
So what if I just decide halfway through, this isn't for me, I don't want to do this? Do I get a refund?
I mean, I think the same thing would apply, no matter the circumstance.
Okay.
For me, because I don't want to be a judgment of, like, have the circumstance. I mean, I think I would build out a universal policy, essentially.
Okay. So you would offer refunds?
I would. Yes. Yeah. But I'm saying there would be a buffer there. The thing I would not offer refunds on is no call, no showing. Like, if you just BS on me, like, I'm supposed to be there and I'm sitting, and you do that 3 or 4 times, and then you decide, you're scheduling with me and scheduling with me and scheduling with me. I'm showing up and you're not. I'm showing up and you're not. I'm showing up and you're not. And then at the end of it, you go, give me my money back. I'm gonna be like, screw off. Bye-bye. Like, no, I'm sorry, that's not happening. Be as mad as you want. I don't care.
What about you, Jen? How are you answering these?
I mean, because I've had my own experience with this, as a client, I going forward, I would always confirm with whoever I work with that I will be refunded if I have unused sessions and I decide at any point in time I do not want to continue. So to me, that if there's a no refund policy, I wouldn't even consider the coach, just because I've been through it and it's not something I would ever set myself up for again. So to me, it's a red flag for sure. I wouldn't even look twice at a coach with no refunds.
I will also say this. I would, like, even when I built out, I always had I would always have like a test period, right? Where essentially, even in that business, the first month is a trial. You get to try this on, see if you like it, see if you like this process, and then you commit to me for 2 months after that, right? Or 3 months after that. But the first month is like us trying on our dresses and seeing if they fit and we want to wear them. And so I was always way more understanding and fast and free in that first month. Like, no, I get it. If it's not a right fit, it's not a right fit. And then I would, after that, sort of lock them in a little tighter, essentially. But I was still reasonable. I'm not going to keep people's money just for the sake of keeping people's money. There was always logic behind the times I was like, okay, not refunding that. But I agree. There should be some kind of refund policy for sure.
Anyone else?
I don't think it's necessarily a red flag, but if I'm a consumer and I'm looking at products or services and I'm comparing the two, I'll probably side with the coach who has a more favorable payment policy and refund policy. Just economics at that point.
My next question is, though, if your coach didn't have a contract, Anthony.
If my coach didn't have a contract and I had to pay them, it wasn't for free. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm not asking. I was just bringing up the contract thing again. Okay, next one.
Next one is luxury lifestyle photo shoots and marketing. Lots of income claims. How do we feel about this?
Luxury lifestyle, so it's all like photos of them like on the beach,
just all about this is the lifestyle you get by coaching with me.
Oh.
Green flag for dumb people, red flag for smart people.
It's not like making promises. It's not like subtle guarantees. Like,
is there something worse than a red flag? What's the worst color than a red flag?
Pirate flag.
Red. Yeah,
that's the one I'm choosing.
What's the difference between like luxury lifestyle? I mean, yes, I hate it. Like was it a coach? I think it was a coach, or it might have been a marketer that literally like his marketing was him. It was a coach. I'm not going to say which one. So it was like him stepping out a door, right? He's stepping out a door and then it freeze frames and it shows the price of his watch, or the brand of his watch, the brand of his coat, the brand of his wallet, the brand of his bag, the brand, and like boom, 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 wasn't like just look at what I'm wearing. It actually highlighted and wrote out the brand name of each thing. And then like boom, and it was like essentially like, do you want to be like me? And I was like, like, no, gross. I don't want to be like you. But that works for somebody. There are people out there that are like, yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want that watch. I want that bag. Yeah, that's what I need.
They promise you 6 figures, 7 figures. Those run for the hills.
You can make multiple 6 figures just by giving me $7,777.
Oh God, that's a red flag. Sorry, that is a bit of a red flag for me. But that's just because I don't do this woo-woo so well. Mind you, I'll forgive it. But like the numerology stuff, where people are always like, the 7 let's make it $777. Yes, that is the price. That is the 777. I like numbers too. I like 999 is better, but like when it just gets that fixated on that kind of stuff, I'm like, well, what is the psychology behind it? That's how my brain works. But again, this is not, that might work for somebody. It obviously does, but
green flag for dumb people.
Yes.
So we're all in agreement again?
Yes. Oh God, girl.
Yes, red flag for sure.
And I'll go off on that too about
Yeah.
show me your bank statement, please.
What do you think of those coaches that talk about on social media that you don't need social media to?
Oh, that cracks me up. That cracks me up. The Instagram coach running an ad on Instagram about how Instagram ads are dead, and I'm like, are you effing kidding me right now?
It's bizarre. It's very bizarre.
How many people did not catch what is actually happening? And like the comments are of course turned off, so nobody can comment.
Yeah.
Right.
Just mind blowing. Like stop wasting your money on Instagram ads. In my Instagram ad. That's
that ironic thought always hits me when I see those. It's so crazy.
What the heck is going on with you? Like, I'm so lost.
Stop using Instagram. DM me if you want to find out more. Like,
so mad.
Okay, I got 2 juicy ones. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right, so they're based on manipulation. So the first one is love bombing, becoming too friendly, and like acting like you're friends, not holding the coach-client relationship boundary, and creating codependency.
That was a lot.
That's 2 of them, or that's 1?
Is that
that's
1 or 2?
It was like
things.
I put a bunch together because it's like one thing ultimately.
Okay. Lack of boundaries. How about that?
lack of boundaries. Too
love bombing.
Friendly.
Is
love
it
bombing.
like overly friendly? Like
yeah.
Well, I mean, how do you define overly friendly? I mean, some people are just friendly.
Yeah.
Well,
It's hard to define.
I think
I can
people
define
being
it.
overly friendly is a red flag in general. I don't trust friendly people.
I can define it though.
Okay.
In a previous coach-client relationship where I was the client, the coach would text me as if we were friends, and I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So I was like, great, I have a coach and a friend. And the reality of it is that she's not upholding the boundary, and I don't know any better, and I think it's a good thing, and it's really not because it ended really bad.
Yeah.
And love bombing.
That I would agree with for sure.
I think that's whatever the opposite of survivorship bias is, Jen. You're letting your bad experience affect all the good experiences that coaches and their friend clients have.
And yes, you can be friends and you can have great relationships. Yes. But like, which one is probably more probable, and what does the ICF steer us towards?
Yeah, you don't do that.
Yeah.
And mind you, like, I have offered coaching to friends. But like and always for free, and always because I needed to get some kind of credential or something like that, and I was just like, I feel like you'll open up to me. Let's talk.
Different, right? Because they're already friends first.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Well, and it always makes for a weird thing. Like, it always makes it weird too, because like the friend part of me wants to come forward and be like, I love you, you're wonderful, like hugs, and like, oh my God, and wants to have that like friend moment where we're like, you know, co-signing their BS, being on their side, telling them how amazing they are. But in the coaching seat, I can't do that. So I'm like, you know, like I'm serious. I'm and not give him anything. And then once it ends, I'm like, I just want you to know that I still love you and you're amazing.
Completely invalidate everything that happened in that coaching session in a matter of seconds.
But I would never do that in like a real true coaching space, right? Because that would be weird. If I had a coach that was constantly like telling me, like, it's one thing to be like, cute shirt, I like it,
right.
or like, you know, something like that. But if they were like, you're so amazing, I just want you to know. Like,
I think it's kind of different from other service industries. Like, I think, like, yes, if you're a consumer, be friends with your local plumber. Be friends with, like, I don't know, whoever, like, does services for you, because, you know, good things will probably come of it.
I don't know. I barely let friends in my house because it's kind of a mess, and I would rather like somebody I'm never going to see again.
That's just your problem and your fault, Brooke, and you should feel bad about it.
I would rather not have to like look into the eyes of the guy that has just like cleaned the poop out of my toilet and never see him again, and have that be like my best friend. Like, honestly.
Good point. I'm thinking of some clients that I would have, had I not been their coach, would have definitely loved to be friends with. You
Yeah.
get to know them. It's intimate conversation. It's really never a balanced connection. It's a different kind of connection, even though in your coaching sessions there's a great rapport. It's not meant to go any further.
No, you
Yeah.
can't be friends with your clients. I'm
Nope.
sorry.
Now,
But
what
I
about
think-
having a relationship with my client?
Many have tried
Every time.
even in the licensed world, and gotten in trouble. I would say that's no as well.
So that's a red flag.
Major.
Major.
Okay.
Love bombing, I mean, like, yeah, it's because I mean, I have known really genuinely nice people. Like,
Yeah.
and they're my friends. Like, they're my friends. I've kept them in my life as my friends because they are actual, genuinely nice people. These people are really nice humans, and that's why I keep them around. And so I would allow them. I would they can compliment me. I'm gonna still get shy about it, but I couldn't. It would be if I was being love bombed by somebody I didn't know that well. I would feel so awkward. I would want to
Creepy.
crawl out of my skin.
There's really only
Kinda
one
creepy.
profession I can think of where I would pay for them to be nice to me, and it's not coaching. That's all I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna say the cuddle coach.
Okay, one coaching.
We're a degree away from what he's actually talking
I'm not saying it, but
fine line though. Like, there's a fine. Like, being nice is one thing, but
Yes.
love bombing is another.
There's like a tipping point of, because I am any of my clients will tell you, we are very friendly,
Mhm.
but I keep the boundary intact. I mean, it's not like I'm never going to them as a friend. I'm only going to them as a coach. Now, I am letting them in a little bit and sharing bits and pieces of me, but for their benefit. I'm sharing bits and pieces of me that I'm finding that are potentially relevant and seeing what they can learn or take, or, it's never because I need to, I need to be validated by them. It's because that's a type of relationship that I like to foster with a client, is a close relationship that has vulnerability on both ends. But there's that line. It has to be there, because if it tips to the other side, then you're shifting the power dynamic essentially. Like, now so in my experience as the client, what happened was I'm paying this person $150 an hour, and now they're coming to me with their stuff. I'm not getting paid. I'm paying this person. What have we done? That's where it got weird for me. That's where I was like, oh, okay, something's really off here. So that's why that line has got to be there. Because
I think if you think about your clients outside of your billable hours, you're a psychopath.
What if you have?
my gosh!
What
Well,
if
then
you
I'm
have-
a psychopath.
What if you have a client or a coach that is just mean to you?
Well, I mean, that's
like-
terrible.
They're
Like, outside of the coaching hours, like, I'm texting you like, you fucking piece of shit, you
No.
idiot.
Language, please. Language.
The family show.
No, I mean,
It is
it is like in the coaching space, just is not taking your shit. Like, it's not letting you get away with anything. He's calling you
It's
out.
probably a good coach then.
Like,
Yeah.
It depends.
If
Depends
you
on-
interpret it as being mean, though, you're probably seeing that as a red flag, and you're not liking
Yeah.
that. But if you don't see that as being mean, and you're like, this person's just being honest, and
like,
they're
people pleasers probably could interpret some forms of coaching as
being
my
mean.
coach is really mean to me.
Well,
Yeah,
And it's not. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's
No.
just
like whatever is
I don't
not
agree.
whatever is not nice is just considered mean or rude.
That just depends on yeah. Anyways,
I
that was.
I think
We've
that-
only got 5 minutes left, Jen.
What's
Okay.
the other one, Jen?
Okay, but we're all in agreement on the love bombing,
Yes.
the blurring of lines. That is
Yeah,
a
it's a
major
red
red
flag.
flag.
Red
Okay.
flag.
So we can make this the last one since we're out of time here. Pushing you to invest in yourself at all cost, such as you're worth it you have to take a leap of faith when you have stated you can't afford it. What do we think about that?
This is in terms of like a sale. Like I'm trying to make a
Following the
sale.
lead of the client. Yeah, red flag.
If they can't afford it,
yeah,
the most I can do is say I will always be here if you can. Maybe I offer a payment plan option.
Yeah.
And like that's as good as it's gonna get, really, right?
Yeah,
like
that just feels creepy to me.
the payment plan option, or
no, what Jen said,
Yeah.
you know, you gotta, this is an investment in you and you can afford this and you aren't you important. I mean, that just is creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you so sure of that?
I mean, you're just
getting into, like,
telling
a
me
hard
you
sell.
want my money so badly.
Yeah.
You deserve it. You
Desperate.
deserve to invest in yourself in this way.
Well, I mean, there's
running for the hills.
Yeah, and there's a lot of marketing training that will like tell you that there's ways to do that. Like you know, there's certain things you can say that will get certain people to buy it. But I don't want to be holding anybody hostage, and I don't want anybody. You know, I don't want somebody not to be able to pay their rent so they can coach with me. I don't want somebody. That for me, I want your house to be in order. And for you, nothing to be suffering because you've chosen to coach with me. So come when you can and you are ready. I had clients save up to work with me, and it was like one of the most flattering things that ever happened. And I was like, that is awesome. That's so cool.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
And they couldn't do one, and I was like, that's fine. It's amazing. When you can, I'll be here. Right? Like, not going anywhere until I win away.
You know what the biggest red flag is, though?
What?
The one that is unforgivable, unignorable.
This should be good.
Is a lack of certification. So be sure to take our coaching 101 and 102 classes if you want to be certified as a life coach.
I mean, that's a real one. That's real. If they're not certified, they've not had formal coach training. And if they're not certified through ICF accredited training, who the heck knows what they're certified in?
And if they're not certified through Certified Life Coach Institute, then they're probably terrible coaches.
Okay. Now you've taken it too far.
But what they might do is not do things in appropriate manner, like give advice.
Yeah.
Or do NLP training or something.
Just know what you are getting. Know what you are getting.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Make sure your coach is certified.
It was more of my segue and call to action to just end the live and say, hey,
take our classes.
I do have a final thought, though, if anyone else does.
That was my final thought, so go for it.
If you are considering hiring someone, always Google their name and the word scam. You will be amazed. All of your big coaches that people love, that have so many followers, that have had all these books published, they also have a ton of people talking about them scamming. Jay Shetty. Sorry, are we allowed to name names?
No, don't.
Okay. I mean, good grief, there is so
good thing
much.
We did not name him.
Just type them in. I mean, type in their name and scam. And
Jen Long scam.
It is not fair. There is a girl out there named Brooke Walters that pretended to have cancer, and I am not her.
No.
Oh gosh, Brooke. Oh no.
Never heard of that. No.
I am not this person.
Well, we could probably figure that out based on that search.
She got probation for deceiving people at
that is not me. So,
but yeah, check out what people are saying and compare it to what your perception is, and then you can discern through that information what's really true. You know, right? You can trust yourself to take the information and figure out what's best for you. Not saying that it is a scam, but saying that maybe it's important to read about the red flags as other people have seen or their experiences, and just know maybe potentially what you have to look out for as you go into a coaching container with a scammy coach.
by the way, her name was Brooke Lynn Walters, not Brooke Walters. So
yeah.
Why does that sound so familiar to me? Sounds
was,
so
it was
familiar.
newsworthy scamming.
She must probably one of our classes. And
No.
anyone else?
That's
Final
funny.
thoughts?
Now, what if though, like I am a reformed scam artist?
You could coach people on how to scam. Like you could be like one of those.
Just trying to go be straight.
No.
Do the right thing now.
It's
Somebody give me a chance, man.
do another job. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think just be aware, follow through, look things up, ask questions, do your homework.
Yeah. Research. Take a step back. Maybe sleep. Take a night's rest. Come back to it, and then trust your gut.
I have it's so funny because I have ADHD, so like I have impulsivity.
Red flag.
I have impulsivity issues, right? So I can very impulsively purchase things. But in the flip side of the coin is I will spend a year pondering over buying something and thinking about it, and like all of these. So like, I know that like I've trained myself. Don't just buy. Like, don't think. Wait, and then I'll think about it forever. Like it becomes a thing where I mull it over for a very, very long time. But I've definitely been both grateful and disappointed because of my own impulsivity issues and learned some hard lessons that way. So just take a beat, give it some time. Again, they're not going anywhere. There's no rush. And if they're pressuring you like there is a rush, then that's probably a red flag.
Yeah. Another one I like is if you run it by people and everyone says to you, hey, I don't know about that. And you're like, but no, this is going to be it. This is my shot. That's kind of a red flag. If you are the only one that thinks it's a good idea and everyone...
Don't listen to your friends and family.
Unless
listen
it's a room full of haters, then you got to be careful who you're saying that
true.
to. Yeah.
But just to know that you, in that moment, you could be being manipulated by their marketing, by their promises, by their claims. And that's why you're like, yes, this is it. Meanwhile, they're on the outside. They haven't been manipulated. So they can see it very clearly. So again, Jerome said it, trust your gut. Yes, but also check and see if you're being manipulated. So run it by other people.
We're going to have to balance this out with like a green flags. Like
that's what I was thinking.
It wouldn't fit into controversial coaching, but eventually we'll do a green flags one so you know what to look for when you're looking for a life
Just
coach.
take this one and think opposites.
Yeah, there
you
you
guys
go.
can do it. You don't need
it.
Okay.
That'll wrap it up. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, comment. Catch us next Tuesday for another controversial coaching 101 topic and take our classes where you'll be certified as a life coach. A green flag.
Through ICF accredited training.
Yes.
Also that.
Bye.
Thank you.